What's up, video creator? It's videomark.net. Today I will show you how to create this cinematic color look within Premiere Pro without any additional LUTs or plugins. It's all built into Premiere Pro. Many tutorials out there will tell you to download LUTs to buy a certain pack and whatnot, but really it's not necessary. Everything's built in within Premiere Pro, and I'm going to show you how. All right, we're in our timeline here. This is our final cinematic look, and here's the original clip. When I'm saying cinematic, I mean, you could start to rumble by saying that to certain people. Experienced filmmakers could talk about that for hours, but in general, when you're saying cinematic, most people are referring to like this teal and orange look that you might see in many movies, that you might know and remember from many movies. That's what I'm referring to. Of course, there's a lot more to it, like frame rates and all these things and ratios and all. But in general, when you say cinematic look, especially beginners, that's a very common question that beginners ask at first when they start off with Premiere Pro. How do I get that cinematic look? And most of the time they mean this type of color grading. And again, many people will ask you to download certain LUT packs, will point you to certain LUT packs. It's not necessary. It's built right into Premiere Pro. So the first thing that we're going to do is create an adjustment layer under New Item, Adjustment Layer, and then drag this adjustment layer on top of our clip. We're doing this because we don't want to do this color grading on that clip itself, in case you want to apply this to other clips, so you don't have to do it over and over again, and just extend that adjustment layer and have this color look across all these clips, okay? With that adjustment layer clicked, head over to the Lumetri color panel. If you don't see that Lumetri color panel, go to Window and Lumetri color. Within that Lumetri color panel, the first thing is we're not going to touch the basic correction. Go to Creative. Give us a little real estate here. The first thing that might surprise especially beginners is that you have this preview window. And when you flick through these LUTs, these all come with Premiere Pro. I did not install this. This is actually all built into Premiere Pro, and it's a great starting point to further tweak that color grade, which is what we are going to do now. The one specific LUT that I mean, under Look, all the way down here, it's SL Gold Rush Hdr. If you did not shoot your footage with a high dynamic range, which I did in this case, you might want to try SL Gold Rush LDR, but we're going to go for HDR for now. And you can see a preview right here, and it's already applied to our footage right here, okay? So move this over a little bit. When we double check in our effect controls over here, it has applied this Lumetri color effect. This is our step number one. We're going to go ahead and follow up with two more steps in this process. Close that creative panel. We're done with that for now. And the next one we're going to need is the Curves tab. We're going to need the RGB Curves right here, but for now, head over to the Hue Saturation Curves, because that's one important step. And under this first tab here, Hue versus Saturation, drag that all the way up. And as you can see, it's kind of increasing the color contrast. And when we toggle this on and off, it's kind of splitting the colors, the skin tone from the background, okay? And that's a very important step. And that's actually, these two things are important. This specific LUT that we applied, this SL Gold Rush HDR, and this Hue versus Saturation graph here, when we drag it all the way up, it starts looking like this typical teal and orange thing. And the very last thing that we want to do is in this RGB Curves here, in the General tab, just create this S curve. And the highlights, we want to, with this exaggerated S curve a little bit. What I usually do in the red channel, I boost the midtones and the reds a little bit, just ever so slightly. And if you want, the last thing that you could do, you could punch the shadows in the green channel just a little bit. And that's basically it. When we toggle this on and off, as you can see, this is the look that we're after, okay? And again, this is all built into Premiere Pro. So what did we do? We created an adjustment layer. In the Lumetri color panel, we applied this specific LUT, SL Gold Rush HDR, which is built into Premiere Pro. No additional download or payment or whatever. It's right inside Premiere Pro. Then the next thing, we went to the Curves tab, and these two things we're going to need in the Hue Saturation Curves. We drag this all the way up to boost the colors a little bit, the color contrast. And then in RGB Curves, in the General tab, We created this S shape, boosted the midtones in the red channel and the shadows in the green channel. And that's all we did, okay? And before, after, as you can see, it looks a lot like this typical teal and orange cinematic look that everybody's after. And again, really no need. Let me delete the first one. This is the one that we just created in this tutorial. Let me play that. And really no need to download fancy LUT packs. Of course you can do. There's certain looks that you might be after. They emulate certain film looks and stuff. I do have all these LUTs. I bought them. But as a beginner, especially when it's supposed to be quick and dirty and you need this typical look, this is actually, I use this a lot, really. The other thing that you could do, maybe you have a rough edit and you want to apply a quick color grade to see what that could look like. It helped me a lot doing this when I was doing my rough edits, okay? All right, so I hope you learned something new. If you did, consider hitting that like button, which is going to help me promote the channel a little bit. I would really appreciate that. And I will see you in the next tutorial.